There was places haunted. There were several places haunted in Creane.
Oh yeah.
And around your place.
Yeah.
There's a place haunted in Creane, and you know well by the name of Caitlin's River. Do you
That's
know where
right,
it is?
yeah.
And there was a priest, this really happened now, and there was a priest from Cork in Creane, Father Catalan, and he used to go up to Colamay Oil Gate to friends. And he often heard this story, but he never put any pass on it, laugh about it. So he was coming home this night at 1 o'clock, and he was driving the car went off on the main road and was driving by this bridge onto Creane, and here the ghost went straight across the road, and he had to slow down and stop and let him cross. And he said that his knees were shaking from that home, but he said it was true enough.
I believe there was a woman seen up in Fairy Hill up in Castlebridge, but as I say, it is belonging to somebody still. But this woman was seen standing at the window, and when the person went to look, there was nobody there. There wasn't anyone there. But you think that maybe it might have been a shadow, but my brother always believed in it.
I seen a ghost. I seen one.
You will surely see it, Nelly.
I did, I see one. Wait till I tell you, my mother was a great big stout woman, a right fine woman, and she loved talking. And she used to go to this neighbour, and we had to go across fields and then I on the road, and we would come home about 10 or half 10. But she talked away until 1:30. And there was myself and Joe, Lord have mercy on her, that was my sister. And we were each side of her coming home, and we were talking coming home along the road, and my mother walked very slow. And we were going by this lane, and here we seen the ghost, and he'd know him. And every other bit of him was there, and we passed right by him. And I got such a fright I started to run, and then Joe started to run, and we ran, we got to this field, and we got over the ditch. And then we had to wait for our mother, and we sat down in the field. And it was about a quarter of an hour before she come, because she was a slow walker. So she came and got over the ditch, and she came to us, she said to us, did you see anything? And we said we didn't. She said, I won't be caught out anymore anyway. We're still too late. So I did see him. There's no one, and anyone I tell it laugh at me. But I seen him all right.
Sure, the banshee used to follow death, like,
death.
you know. Supposed to be always. My sister now up next door to Fogarty's lived next door to her, and they always said that the banshee followed
different families.
Yes, you know, the Fogarty, that the banshee. But and they really believed it.
Yeah.
And
But
nights
Dad,
before a person died, they heard the banshee.
But do you remember Dad telling us about he was cycling out in town, and as he come by Crosstown Cemetery,
Yeah.
something come across the road, straight across the road, and straight in the cemetery gates, through the wheels of the bike, like, just darted out and through. And he jumped off the bike, but he didn't know what had happened. He said his hair stood on his head, like, but he come out to Castlebridge, and when he got out, wasn't it his sister? It was only after dying. McNeville's wife, was that?
McNeville's wife, yeah.
By the time he got home to Castlebridge, she was after dying.
I was told that about the banshee followed the Fogartys.
Yeah,
And Lizzie said to me that night, you'll always know when Jim Fogarty is going to die. Because she said the banshee follows the Fogartys. But Jim died, and his wife died, and his sisters died, and they all died, and I never heard the banshee.
Oh yeah, if anybody was going to die, if you had somebody sick and you heard about, oh, that person's going to die in a very short time.
Or someone, if you didn't know of anyone, you said someone was going to die.
Yeah, and another thing is a light. If you see a light, that's a bad sign. There's going to be a death in your family. Did you ever hear anything like that in your life? Stupid. And I know a fella did see lights, and every time he saw the light, there was a death in the family.
This did you say? There was coincidence with them, I suppose.
I remember there was my great granddad was dying. The man that was working there was telling me this, and he said he used to leave Kilcurl to go over to Ballyhoo. Them was the two places. One was where the brother was living. This was the sister was dying in Ballyhoo, and this Paddy the workman, you knew Paddy Murphy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. So he said as he had to cross the main road, and he was going up the brow, he heard a banshee, And the banshee came, he said all along the same with him, and when he got into the haggard, the banshee disappeared, and when he went up, she was dead.
We always opened the window when a person was dying to let out the spirit, all right, years ago. That's gone too.
Yeah. And the same on New Year's night.
The minute a person
The
died.
minute 12 o'clock would strike on a New Year's Eve, you went to the front door and you opened the door to let the new year in, and you walked straight to the back door then and you opened the back door to let the old year out.
Always on the May mornings, 1st of May, everyone out around the mountainside did always got up really early and went out and wished everybody good luck. Whether there was anybody around them or not, they always wished the neighbours all around good luck. But if you went that morning, then you always went to any farmers or anybody that had cows or any kind of stock or anything, and you wished them all good luck. But if there was a churn there, you had to catch it and give it so many dashes of the dash or the turnover or whatever it was, for to wish them good luck, because if not, you took the luck of the butter with you.
On May mornings years ago, people wouldn't, if people were, say, years ago in the country, you know, the neighbours come around to get a pint or 2 pints of milk, you know, just in a can, and that you're not supposed to sell any milk or of a May morning. That's unlucky. That your cows won't profit for the year and things like that.
And in our place above, never allowed the cows until the 1st day of May, and they had the little fire, and they had to drive the cows through the fire every May, and because then the fairies wouldn't milk the cows in the field.
May Day, you don't churn or sell butter. And if you churn or sell butter, and I know a woman who did it, she's not long bit butter herself, and she churned and she churned and she churned, and there was no butter coming out. So she had to get it blessed by the priest, and she churned, and butter came on it.
You couldn't whitewash in May, couldn't stay on the wall. So you have to whitewash then in either April or June or July, whatever month you want to whitewash. But if you whitewashed in May, the hens wouldn't lay if it was a hen house, and if they didn't lay, it'd be all rotten. You'd never get they used to sit the hens that time. So there'd be no use to sitting the hens, the eggs, because they'd be all rotten. And if you don't know what the cow house, the cows that have fairy calves, and you couldn't do it their house. And if you don't know what the horse would die if you were ploughing or harrowing or out in the field working with them. So you couldn't think of doing it. No, you could work April, this is the best month.
Easter Saturday, I think it was. Yeah,
Easter Saturday. The googs, you went out.
You went out.
Saturday
I was mostly all children.
Googs, googs. We used to say something, remember? Googs, googs. And you had a stick in your hand.
Yeah, always brought a stick. A stick in your hand and knocked the door like with the stick. And you got the eggs. And you always had an apron or something like that to put or a basket to put the eggs into. To collect the eggs for Easter.
You dress up in anything, old women's clothes. Maybe the boys would dress up in the women's clothes, and the girls would dress up in the men's clothes, men's hat and men's pants and all on them, and off they go. And a stick in your hand.
A basket.
And a basket on your arm, or in a wood bag or something to put your money or whatever you'll get in it. You wouldn't have a whole lot in those times. But you'd go to all the houses then, and when you go to the door, you'd say, "Googs, googs."
Eggs or money, ma'am.
Eggs or money, ma'am. Yeah.
They have an old stick and they could.
Yeah, and they tap the door. And maybe someone wouldn't answer you. And someone may be right good. They come out and you'd know what you get. They're doing that still, you know. That's going on still.
You went into the Friars. The Friars had the tran water.
Yeah.
And you shook that over the, you know, went out with the bottle and shook it over the potato crop.
Farmers.
Yeah, farmers did
Farmers
it.
did it now
Yeah.
more than.
Yeah. It was a
people
worm,
garden.
the tran was a worm, you see, would eat into the potato.
Yeah,
So the Friars used to give you the holy water, like.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'd shake it on the potato crop.
Yeah.
I'd go to the friary, that's where I used to get the tran water. And you'd bring a 5-naggin bottle, well, all depending on how many fields the farmer, whoever wanted it. And you'd bring home the tran water, and the man then
I'd always go from one corner of the field to the other, right across that way, and say they were father for to have good look at the crops and to kill the trams in the land. And you bring the salt to the church and you get it blessed.
Yeah,
and the priest, when the priest had blessed it, you bring it home, and the first thing you do is put it into your Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yes, and then when you're feeding the calves and the cows, you go out the animals, you put a bit in their food.
Yeah.
That's to keep them right.
Always the first egg of an Easter Sunday morning, you'd use the blessed salt on your boiled egg.
Yeah.
The salt would be after being blessed, like, you know, so that'd be the first of the salt you'd use.
Yeah.
They'd get more or less a piece of used to call it a skioch or blackthorn, and just put it down it, and you collect all the egg shells that you'd use, boiled eggs from Easter, and you'd put a string through them, like, and put them all around at that old Christmas decorations, and you'd go off and pick these primroses and stuff, and you'd tie them in bunches here and there and all on the top of this May bush, like, you know. It was up for the 1st of May. It was a great tradition when we were youngsters. Yeah.
Well, I remember my mother telling me about, you know, going down to Beggarn?
Yeah.
Down to Beggarn Lodge.
Yeah.
Down to the Sloglands. And there was always a May bush there on the crossroads. And they used to dance all night out on the crossroads with the May bush. And she said it'd be packed, there'd be crowds there. And they'd have music. Johnny Hardy, I think, was the man that used to play the accordion. And they'd be dancing all night around the May bush on the 1st of May. She often told us that.
But people collected the purse strap of rain and made the purse. There was a cure in that. The purse strap of rain. Did you ever hear that? Yeah. We used to keep that in a bottle, and there was a cure in it, yeah.
The 1st of May, and May Day, if you could do it at all, and May morning the girls used to go out and to get the dew off the grass and to wash their face with it. And they'd have lovely complexion for the following year. The whiter you wear at that time, the better. Now you have to be all brown, but that time you had to be lovely and white. And when the women used to meet, to sell it around, and people wash their face in buttermilk to keep their face white. And that was sold up to about 8 years ago in White's Hotel, and every other hotel around they'd buy it for the good complexion. So, if you had warts, you cured. If you just rubbed them in the dew. What there was great cure about May.
There's a stream runs down as you're walking down to Eden Vale. It's about halfway down. The water runs down off of the hill, down through those trees, you know, into a little kind of a well. And there's a stone in the well, which you'd swear it was blood that's on it. So it makes out there was a priest murdered there years ago. And it was his blood, and I mean, no matter how much the water's running there all the time, but the red thing is still there, you know.
A robin, if it flies into your house, it's bad luck. The minute they go out, you get the holy water and you shake it, and shake the holy water. Oh yeah, you'd nearly have to get the house blessed. Some of them used to get the house blessed if a robin flew in.
There was a house haunted over in Owlert, and it was a sister to my father, and it was a Protestant place. And this woman bought it, and she got married, and they were living in for about 6 months. And when they go to bed at night, they'd hear a door opening, and they'd hear steps going up the stairs, and they'd hear mug falling on the floor. And that went on every night, and they went up to the cures in Owlert. And the cure came down twice, and they came down first and done no good. They were still there, second time. Still going on every night, and you hear the doors opening and closing. So the last time he went up, the parish priest came down, and he went in. He said, "I want everyone out of the house." So everyone went out, only himself, and he stayed about 20 minutes inside. And he walked back ways out in the door, and he had a corked he had a bottle and he had corked the spirit in the bottle, and he came out and he said to the people, he said, is there a marl hole around here? And they said there was, and he went out and he threw the bottle in the marl hole, and there never was a sound in that house after.
If you put a jumper or blouse or anything on inside out, you don't change it, you leave it on all day, because if you change it, like, your look is gone. That's for look.
Yeah.
If you put it on inside out, you leave it that way.
Oh, I often do still.
Yeah, but I
even do
wouldn't change
still,
it.
But I wouldn't change
No.
it unless I was going out anywhere, you know.
Yeah.
But if I was staying in
No.
the house, I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I'd leave it inside.
No, you'd leave it on.
Oh God, if you put a coat or a jumper or anything on you inside out, you'd have to, if you leave it on, you'll have good luck. You're going to win something. You're going to come up in the something, in the money line. And if you turn it, you're changing your luck. If you take it off
You'd
and
be
change
tempted
it,
to turn it, but you'd
you'd leave it as it was.
I heard that this man went out, he went out after rabbits, and he was out for a couple of hours, and he went around this field, but he couldn't get out of it. No way could he see where he went into it, and he went in the gate, but no way could he get out of it, and he sat down and he rested, and he said the dog started to Kearney he had with him, so he got up, he said, and his mother used to tell him, he used to hear stories at his own home place that if you change your coat, turn inside out, you go over it. And he changed his coat, and he was able to walk out of the field.
Dan Stevens was an old man that lived up the Bracketstone Lane, which is high ground away above, higher than we are here. And he maintained that years, hundreds or maybe thousands of years ago, that the tide, all Castlebridge and all, was covered with water, and it even must have gone up the lane, he said, as well. It must have been up there, because I was going home one night and there was a 3-masted schooner across the lane, he said, and I had to get out in the field to get around her. But Dad didn't always tell the truth.